Good afternoon and welcome to the next in our Wednesday recitals. This afternoon, Elaine Hansen and I are going to be playing some piano organ duets. She's going to be playing some piano and I'm going to be playing some organ. Our first piece is God of Our Fathers. Many of you will recognize this hymn. This was written in 1876 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It was written by Daniel Roberts, who was a priest in the Episcopal Church. God of Our Fathers. The hymn, Once to Every Man and Nation, began as a poem by James Russell Lowell in 1845. It was set to music in 1890 by Thomas John Williams. The poem was written about social responsibility during the period of debate
over slavery and the impending war with Mexico. Martin Luther King Jr. quoted it in his 1966 "We Shall Overcome" speech.
Our next piece is based on the tune Finlandia. Finlandia was written by Sibelius. It's the well-known text that usually goes with it is "Be Still My Soul." We played this a few weeks ago when we did our last recital, but this has also got a sort of a newer text, and this text was written between the two world wars to focus on international peace. I'm going to read the first two verses. Even though this is considered a patriotic kind of a song, I don't think there's a nation in the world that couldn't sing these same words. They're so beautiful. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is, but here are my hopes and dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too, and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. So hear my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and for mine.
My Country, 'Tis of Thee is probably the first patriotic song all school children learn. Samuel Francis Smith wrote that text in 1831, but it was set to a tune written in 1744. On a train trip to Colorado Springs in 1893, Catherine Lee Bates was inspired to write a poem called America the Beautiful. Samuel Augustus Ward was the organist at Grace Episcopal Church in Newark, New Jersey. On a ferry trip to Coney Island, he was inspired to write the tune Materna in 1882 for a totally different hymn. In 1910, the poem and the tune Materna became the anthem we know of America the Beautiful. In 1861, Julia Ward Howe wrote the poem The Battle Hymn of the Republic, for which she was paid a total of $4. It was set to a 19th century melody. When a Union Army chaplain sang it for President Lincoln, it quickly became the unofficial anthem of the Union Army during the Civil War. Please join us in singing along as we play America and America the Beautiful 2 times through. And we will play the battle hymn into the verse and then the refrain twice. And to quote Ethan Draper from an earlier program, if you don't know the second verse, sing the first verse twice.
next hymn is Eternal Father. Eternal Father was a British hymn. It was associated with the Maritime Armed Services. It was popularized by the U.S. Navy in the late 19th century.
One of my very favorite movies is Yankee Doodle Dandy, the story of George M. Cohan. Cohan lived from 1878 to 1942 and was a member of the vaudeville family, the Four Cohans. He was an American entertainer, composer, lyricist, singer, and dancer. Two of his most popular songs are Grand Old Flag and Yankee Doodle Boy. Last Saturday was Armed Forces Day to recognize those in the current military. Memorial Day weekend is coming now. We want to thank all of you who have served and those who are serving today. So following Grand Old Flag and Yankee Doodle Boy is a medley of military anthems.
next going to be playing the Variations on America by Charles Ives. Charles Ives his dates are 1874 to 1954. He lived in Connecticut, and he was an insurance salesman for his real job. He also wrote music, but most of his music was unplayed, unnoticed when he was writing it. His works, he wrote all kinds of different things. I read one time, and I thought this was so fascinating, that he loved parades. And what he loved about them was he loved the sound of one marching band leaving the street and another one coming down the street, and he loved that cacophony of sound. He loved the different keys that things were in, as you will hear on two little interludes that I play. Two interludes in this piece are, they're played in two keys. My right hand is playing in one key, my left hand is playing in the other key, and it is not easy, and it sounds very strange, so I'm warning you not to wonder if I'm having a mini stroke at that point. I am not. I'm playing the notes that he has written, hopefully. He wrote this piece when he was 16 years old. He wrote it, and it was largely then ignored. He wrote it in 1891. In 1948, E. Power Biggs, who was a very famous organist of the time, was going to be playing in a July 4th celebration, and he asked Charles Ives, they were good friends, he asked Charles Ives if he had something that he could play, and Charles Ives remembered that he had written this when he was 16 years old, and he got it out, and E. Power Biggs sort of made it famous. America Variations, Charles Ives.
We're going to end our program today with God Bless America. It was originally written by Irving Berlin in 1918 as a response to World War I. He revised some of the wording in 1938, taking on the form of a prayer and asking God's blessing and peace for the nation. As a child growing up in the 50s, I can remember Kate Smith singing it every year on the TV. It was introduced to the public on Armistice Day, which we now know as Veterans Day.
Many thanks to all of you who have been joining us all these many weeks. Who would have thought in the fall when I planned our Lenten recital series that usually lasts for 5 Wednesdays, that we would be going all the way through the end of May. It's been such a pleasure to plan recitals, piano and organ. We had Bob and Sarah and her sister Carrie do a guitar singing concert, which we're so grateful for. This is going to be our last every week concert. There will be some concerts during the summer. I will advertise them. I had somebody suggest maybe you all let me know your favorite hymns, and we have just sort of a big hymn sing. I'll just play hymns. Maybe Elaine would come and we would play some piano and organ hymns, and you could just sing from your homes. I also had an idea of a Christmas in July organ recital, so we will be having some concerts. We just won't be having them every Wednesday. And once again, thank you so much to all of you who've been watching each week. Thank you.